What is up, you guys? We are coming back with another episode of the Lay Down podcast. I am, of course, joined by Lenny B, who had one of his teams knocked out last week, but
Oh man,
because he's a fan of two teams,
I live
stayed
another
alive.
day.
Stayed alive. Lenny, I just talked. I was on BLV versus Consensus. I broke down in depth all the games. So I'll let you mostly talk about the four games this week. But before we even do that, give me some like what did you how did you feel after the Raiders how did you feel during the Raiders game and after it?
So I came into the Raiders game just at peace with the season almost. I was just like, man, I don't even know if I'm gonna see these Raiders make the playoffs with Derek Carr ever again. I don't even know if Derek Carr is gonna be on the team. I don't know if this guy's gonna be on. I don't even know if Waller's gonna be
It'd be
on the
pretty
team next
sad if Carr's last pass was an interception as a Raider.
year. That would be very sad. But I was just like, I didn't even think this team was going to go over 500. And here we are with a chance to win the game. Midway through the game, my brother was just like so stressed. He's like, oh my God, we're going, oh, he did this and a stupid penalty and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, I don't care. Number one, Derek Carr will probably keep this close at some point. And number two, I really just didn't care. Like I was just at the point where if whatever happened, if we got blown out at that point, even if we won the game, I probably would have felt about the same. It was just a pleasant surprise to even be there. I was I'm happy with how the direction could possibly go for this team, but I can't believe we freaking interviewed Jim Caldwell, man. I mean,
Is it
like we
still in the
tried
back of
to.
your mind that these are still the Raiders?
Yes, I am right now I'm like we have a chance to do something good, and I don't believe in us to do that. But there's a hope in me that we can do it. We just luck and do it like we did this year.
Yeah, I think you and Bengals fans would probably agree a lot based on how they feel right now.
Lions have the biggest playoff drought now. It's not the Bengals anymore. So now
Yeah,
Jared Goff's got to figure
Lions
that
haven't
out.
won a playoff game since 90, 91, 92, something like that. I gotta go
Now we
check.
can make Jared Lions playoff
All
meme
right,
jokes.
Lenny, you're mostly gonna spend about 12 minutes previewing each game, and then we'll spend the last couple minutes getting to some of the questions that I asked them to send. Got a couple responses so far, but by having Lenny go first, it gives us more time for more responses. So. All right,
Okay,
Lenny. Starting off with the game that I think the people are least excited for, to be honest. It is the
Bengals.
Bengals at the
Yeah.
Titans. It is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. That is 1:30 p.m. to Lenny because he doesn't understand time zones. How do you feel about this game?
I feel like I don't know if Joe Burrow's good enough. I like not that no. I don't know if Joe Burrow's enough. That I shouldn't say he's not good enough because he proved to me in the Raiders game that he's very much a top seven quarterback. I had my doubts about him a little bit. I was still a little bit like, I was a little iffy on him, but there really weren't like a whole lot of open receivers in that game. I think the Raiders overall did a really pretty good job at covering the receivers. They was throwing tight window throws. It was a playoff game, the first one in his like forever. This was big. It was a big moment, and he showed up, and he's shown that throughout the whole year. I just don't think the matchups are good for the Bengals. I heard somewhere that the Bengals interior O line is like one of the worst on PFF or something. The Titans are got healthy at the right time. Derrick Henry's coming back. Bud Dupree, all these guys, Jeffrey Simmons. I mean, it's going to be a lot for Joe Burrow to handle. Even the Raiders game, they got pretty solid pressure on him. This is going to be possibly very bad from a pressure standpoint. Like he's going to be there's going to be someone in his face a majority of the game. Harold Landry's a beast. That whole front seven is just really good. Secondary wise, I think the way that they can win this game is just like they just go guns a-blazing on offense. Jamar Chase has like 300 yards because there's the weakness on this Titans team is their secondary on defense. I don't think they're very good. I think they're okay, but I don't know if they're going to have enough opportunities to do that, especially with Derrick Henry coming back. The run game's going to probably be there. The play action game for Tannehill. I mean, as soon as Tannehill has viable options, he's going to get you methodical. He's just going to drive methodically down the field. He's going to keep Joe Burrow off the field. That's what Titans like to play. That's how they like to play football. They make sure the other offense doesn't score as many points. I guess for defense wise, I do like the pass rush. I think Trey Hendrickson's going to have a pretty solid game, but I think it's just too much talent for the Bengals right now. There's too much talent on this Titans offense that's been rested for the last week, who's coming off just amazing win after amazing win. I mean, as a Niner fan, that Titans game, man, tough game. They just keep finding ways to win these games, and I'm not sure if the Bengals, from a talent perspective, are just there yet with the Titans, especially coming off a bye week. So, yeah, I'll take the Titans to win this game.
Can I have a score prediction?
I think I wrote it down somewhere.
Yeah, you had
I sent it to you.
34-22.
That's about as much as I think it's going to go. I think the Titans possibly get up high early, like in the fourth quarter. They're just up by like 2 or 3 scores, and the Bengals added like a 2-point conversion to it. I don't think it's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, the receiving corps, they're not the problem. It's just they're not exact. It's hard to explain. You know what I mean? It's just like the one thing I could see them exploiting.
There's only so much they can do at a certain
point.
Point.
There isn't a lot that they can do. It's just attack their corners and just hope that you score more than them. I mean, that's really all they can do from a matchup perspective, in my opinion.
All right, Lenny, I'm going to force you to put your pro Bengals hat on here.
Okay.
Is there... Don't actually take your hat off. I'm just saying.
I don't have a Bengals hat. Who has a Bengals hat?
Give me the path that you think the Bengals win this game.
I think, like I said before, I think Zach Taylor just goes shotgun, like 4 wide receiver sets most of the game, just like quick passes, quick, like hurry up offense, just like take the shots when they're there, make sure to score a lot, be ultra aggressive. I think that's the way they win this game. I don't know if Zach Taylor, the coaching staff, have it in him. I thought they had a decent game plan against the Raiders. I think they've been okay coaching staff this year.
Were you impressed with them in that game?
I was impressed by Zach Taylor's ability to get the tight ends one-on-one looks with the linebackers. I thought that was just scheme-wise. I thought I was pretty impressed with that. They saw that on film when they attacked it. I thought they were a little too conservative at some points. It kind of felt like, man, just pass the ball. You have Joe Burrow, you have Jamar Chase. Sometimes they ran the ball. It was kind of like, why do you need to do that? But yeah, I just think they have to get lucky. They have to win the turnover battle too. Also, that's another thing. They're not going to get a lot of opportunities, I don't think, with the ball back because Tannehill is very good at limiting interceptions and just being very efficient when everything's going right.
Right.
When everything's going right, it's like he's almost like Tom Brady when everything's going right. Every throw is just like,
by the way, guys,
money, everything's good.
I gotta make a real quick side note. Barry McConkner has embraced Tom Brady as the greatest of all time. So Lenny is now turned into the new Barry McConkner.
Oh yeah, on Discord. Brady. Yeah, screw Tom Brady, man.
Like last week, Lenny argued for Brady as MVP. Lenny, who should win MVP this year?
Not Tom Brady. Well, actually, no. Tom Brady should win MVP because he motivates his players more than any player in NFL history, and he's just a great playmaker on defense. He wills his Levante David and Devin White had a great game against this run. I mean, they ran there for 3 yards per carry. The Eagles ran for 3 yards per carry. I mean, Brady is just, man, such an inspiration.
Why do you think guys like Rodgers, Brees, and Manning haven't been able to do that?
I don't think they've been able to do that because they don't have that luck factor. They don't have that clutch factor.
So they want to win as badly as Brady.
They don't want to win as badly as Tom does.
All right. Yeah, I mostly agree with what you said about the game, though. All jokes aside, I think what the Titans have to do They got to when they get pressure because they're going to get a lot of pressure. When
Yeah.
they get pressure, they're going to have to take Burrow to the ground. Like
Oh yeah, they're gonna
they
have
have
to
to
hammer him.
capitalize. What made Burrow so dangerous his last year at LSU was he was able to like there would be defenses that would send pressure. Clemson did it, Georgia did it, but he would make plays outside of the pocket. He would escape pressure, and he would prevent the defensive lineman from getting to him, and he would make a throw downfield. And it'd be frustrating. And the thing with him is there's plays where like they should be a negative play, but it ends up being a positive play for the offense, and that's really tough to stop at times. But the Titans have one of the best sack percentages in the league. The Bengals offensive line, I know you referenced a pass blocking stat. They are 31st in adjusted sack rate.
Oh
I actually thought you guys ran the
man,
ball pretty well on them.
we
Uh,
did.
I think the problem for you guys is they were up I think 17-3 at one point. And so
Yeah,
at a
it
certain
was
point
looking dicey.
you guys had to get away from the run, and you weren't nearly as efficient when it came to passing the ball. Carden
I don't
had a
think the
great
Titans have
game,
that same problem.
and yeah.
I don't think they get up that high. Not with
So
the defense, man. I don't think so.
the Bengals they need to get a lead early. I think you need to make Tannehill throw the ball.
For sure.
Um, Not saying you're guaranteed to win that way, but that's your best shot. And if the Bengals are able to get up 17-3 again, I honestly think they probably win the game.
How realistic is that, though?
But
It's
that's the
not
problem.
very
I don't know how
realistic.
realistic it is that they go to the home of a team that is getting their players back. They'll be motivated. They're at home.
I mean, they've had playoff experience. This roster's had playoff
Yeah, they've
experience.
been.
They
This
went
is
to the
their
AFC
third straight.
Championship 2 years ago.
I saw someone on PFF say Mike Vrabel's the new Mike Tomlin, and that he's never going to have a losing season for 15 years.
He
We're
motivates his players
I
almost
think
as good as
we're what are we 4
Brady.
seasons in, and he hasn't had a losing season yet.
Yeah,
So
he
he
had
is
that one 9-7 season, and he went to the AFC Championship game. Remember, everyone's like, "Oh, the Titans went 9-7 this year again," and then they went to the AFC Championship.
so
That
that's
was
he's
funny.
like 27% of the way done with the
Yeah,
Mike Tomlin
he's
challenge.
close. He's almost there.
He's getting there.
He's getting there.
Um, yeah,
He's got to win a Super Bowl, though. He's got to have an elite
I'm
quarterback.
taking the Titans to win. I think it'll be a little lower scoring than you predict. I'm going 27-17. I did also pick the Titans to make the Super Bowl before the year started. So and they are
Wow,
the number one seed. So there's no reason to pick them to lose against. I love Joe Burrow. I have his jersey, but I
Joseph.
there's no reason to pick them to lose to this team. I mean, here's the thing, Lenny. In the preseason, I predicted 7 of the 8 teams that are currently in the divisional round to make it to the
Hmm,
divisional round.
that's interesting.
But my
Very smart
Bengals,
booking.
I gotta look at my Bengals record prediction here. I was not high on them.
I think I had them at 5 wins.
I had them at 5-12.
I think really the X factor for the Bengals, just real
I was
quick,
higher.
it's just their receiving core was just been so
I was higher
dangerous.
in the preseason on the Raiders than I was the Bengals,
You didn't even like the Raiders. You had like 5 wins.
and I thought the Raiders would be bad too.
That's sad. Both those teams were good this year, and they both played each other in a playoff game. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Titans to win. I'm gonna take them to cover. I also think the thing with Tennessee is the run defense is truly elite this year.
yeah,
So the Bengals aren't gonna like. The thing is, if you have a good run game but a so-so to below average pass blocking offensive line like the Titans do, you
yeah,
can kind of counteract that when you're playing a non-elite plus run defenses.
yeah.
And
It's up the passing game because they're the defensive linemen are less likely to just go full out on pass rush. They're
right,
going to have to be conservative and try to stick with their alignment.
right.
There's this thing they just got to like kind of stick with them to make sure their pockets are clean. Yeah, or I mean their
And
holes. Yeah.
but the Bengals, first of all, the Bengals aren't a very good run offense. They are 24th in yards per attempt, and they average 93% of their opponent's rushing yards, which is actually below average.
How much
So
did Joe Mixon average this year? I'm
Joe
looking up.
Mixon didn't average very much because they weren't a very good offensive line. So they're not going to have that, and I just think ultimately Pass rush, run defense, run offense. It's just going to end up being too much here.
Oh wow, he only had 4.1 yards per attempt.
All right, Lenny. Moving on to
I
the
thought it'd be more.
next game. This is an absolutely massive game. I think the NFL knew what they were doing because they kind of set it up as each game went from they got the most hyped game right after each other. So like they went from least hyped to most hyped. Bengals
Build
Titans.
momentum.
Bengals Titans is the least hyped game.
Watch
Uh,
Bengals Titans just be like an absolute
Niners
killer.
Packers I would say is the third most hyped game. Rams Bucks I would say second most hyped game, and then I think the Chiefs Bills game is the most hyped game
Yeah,
of the week.
everyone's looking forward to this game.
What is your
Everyone's
prediction for your Niners this week? How do you expect them to?
um when I look at the Niners, this is a different team than when we played them week 3, right? Was it
For
week
both
3?
teams.
For both teams, it's true. But the Niners, we were at the point where we just benched Brandon Ayuk. I mean, this is a completely different team, in my opinion. You saw that in the earlier parts of the season, our pass rush wasn't nearly as good. Our front seven just wasn't that good. Fred Warner was not playing to his ability. Our corners were just as injured as before. But at this point, all our corners are healthy. And if you watch the Cowboys game, the healthy Niners corners actually played pretty good. Like the coverage was good in that game. There was a reason Dak was so uncomfortable in the pocket. Like it just didn't look like anybody was getting open, even though Michael Gallup was the only receiver that was out in that game. I mean, you still had Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb in that game. I watched a video. It was Jackson Kruger Sports. Yeah, he was like talking about how last time we played them, we limited Devontae Adams to only go routes. So like we force Aaron Rodgers. No, like his point was that he's good at everything. Like he's amazing at everything, but he isn't a burner. Like he's a 4-5 runner
He
or
still
whatever.
had like 12 catches for 132
No,
yards.
I know. But like what he was saying is that at that point, Aaron Rodgers was like forced to chuck it up for the one-on-one matchup, and a lot of the time it would force 3-and-outs. I think the Niners win this game by keeping Aaron Rodgers off the field, and fully capable. I think the Niners are fully capable of just running all over this team. I mean, the Packers are overconfident right now. I know they're talented. David Bakhtiari is also coming back, I think, right? Is he
Yeah,
questionable?
they're both questionable, but the likelihood is Bakhtiari and Alexander are back. Alexander did actually play in the first game.
He
Um,
did?
he
I don't
did.
remember
It
that.
was so long. If
Yeah, I know.
here's
It feels so long ago.
the Packers 49ers game feels like it was last season.
Man, I can't believe we left 37 seconds on the freaking board. How do we not stop
Kyle
him, man?
Juszczyk should have gone down at the 1.
That's true.
Also,
Kyle
another
gold.
Shanahan, just like I think.
You only had the one.
All right, but
Man,
keep
the
going,
one
keep
time.
going.
Yeah, the Niners, the way they win this is similar to how they won the Cowboys game, man. Just you need to be able to just run the ball. Like the way the Niners ran the ball in that first drive on that script, that's probably one of the best, like, just go straight down the field and just punch them in the throat drives I think I've seen in my life. I mean, it didn't feel like the Cowboys had any answers on that drive. And it just feel like if we just keep the game out of Jimmy Garoppolo's hands, like I said last week, I said this last week, keep the ball out of Jimmy Garoppolo's hands, and we got a shot against anybody. I really believe that. I think we'll have at least some success against the passing game against the Packers. I think they'll do a fine job. Obviously, it's hard to stop the MVP. Aaron Rodgers, also, it's just something I thought I'd mention, has been historically pretty bad against the Niners in the playoffs. He's 0-3.
He's 0-3.
No, he has like some pretty bad stats. He only has like 250 yards per game or something.
I gotta look this.
That's not the point. I can send it to you. There's like a stat I found. So basically, I'm gonna pick the Niners because I'm a homer and I just want to see the Niners do this. But I mean, honestly, this could, in my opinion, I think it can go either way. It really just depends if Jimmy Garoppolo plays good or not, in my opinion. I just really think this game will be close. And it's all it's going to take is Jimmy Garoppolo to make enough throws for us to just not lose. And I know that sounds like, man, you're not giving the Packers enough credit or whatever. It's just we match up good against them, man. I
Well,
mean, I think we match up pretty good.
on the Rodgers point, I will say he's been good again. Like you're saying, he hasn't been that good relative to Aaron Rodgers standards. Like he still has a 96 passer rating. He's completing
Oh
71%.
man, Tom Brady has a way better passer rating, bro.
He is only 5 touchdowns to 3 interceptions.
Wait, I'm looking for this stat now. Okay, I'm
He's
sending it to you
averaging
right now. I'm sending
200.
you to DMs.
Yeah,
Just
I
look at
gotta
this.
check this.
5 for 4 in touchdowns and interceptions, 250 yards per game, and 0-3.
Yeah. Okay. So that's not great, but
Not great.
it's still Aaron Rodgers. Like,
Nick Bosa is going to play. I do believe that. I don't know about Fred Warner though. He was limited. Nick Bosa this week, but I think he'll play. David Bakhtiari probably won't be playing at 100%, as we know David Bakhtiari. I still expect him to be good because it's David Bakhtiari. I mean, like, come on, like you got to give him some credit here. But I don't expect him to be like shutting down Nick Bosa or anything, especially after the game he had against Tyron Smith. Or not Tyron Smith. It was Lella Collins. He was lined up most of the game.
first of all, does Kyle Shanahan not concern you at all?
So this is what I was saying. If Jimmy Garoppolo just doesn't choke, then I don't really care if Kyle Shanahan's like pass the ball in the fourth quarter when we're up by like whatever. I don't really care because the way you nullify passing in the fourth quarter is just by having a quarterback who's going to make the throws to do that. You know what I mean? And I truly believe if Jimmy Garoppolo plays a good game the whole way through and limits to like 1 or like 0 turnovers, like that's where we need to win this game.
But when was the last time Jimmy Garoppolo played a really good game against a good opponent?
The Packers. He did that against the Packers. He played good in that game.
Yeah, but he still had a turnover.
That's true. Yeah,
that's
turnovers. If we get 2 turnovers, it's over. I'm not even gonna it's over. Like it's
that's the problem. I think with the. I picked the Packers to win. But give me your score prediction. You went 30-24 Niners is what I got.
Yes, that is what
I
my
picked
score
the Packers to win 30-27. Go check out the Lay Down Podcast Instagram, by the way. I'll go link that in the Discord, but it will be linked down in the description. You can see all of our game picks and our score predictions.
Give me a second. I'm still on. No, I'm still on. I
can certainly see the Niners win. The problem for the Niners for me is just I feel like I can count on Jimmy G turning the ball over like every game, basically.
Apparently,
and I don't think
you got injured in the.
I really don't feel good about giving Aaron Rodgers extra possessions on Lambeau Field, especially with the week of rest. And let's be honest, basically 2 weeks of rest. I know they technically played against the Lions, but anybody that watched them clearly understands.
They didn't even game plan. I guarantee Matt LaFleur.
And they still almost won the game too.
He probably got his offensive coordinator just like, okay, practice squad. You practice with the offensive coordinator. All the starters, we're just gonna chill out. We're gonna watch film on the Niners. That's what we're gonna do.
Rodgers was probably listening to Joe Rogan.
He probably invited him into the building. He's like, give him some herbamental like healing process.
Advice, huh?
Yes.
No, I think the problem with the other thing is I rewatched that Niners Dallas game. I thought you guys played like really well in the game.
We did.
I thought Jimmy, first of all, I thought Dak Prescott played really poorly. I thought Jimmy actually outplayed him. I thought you guys played really well. You shut down their run. You got pressure. You guys did a better job than I expected in the secondary. Now, I will say Dallas, they do have a couple guys. I don't think they have anybody that's quite frankly close to Devontae Adams level.
Oh, no. Amari Cooper.
They still got good options.
Borderline top 15 wide receiver.
And I thought, the run game wasn't amazing, but it was still effective, especially when it needed to be. Deebo Samuel. It's become an expectation.
I think I don't agree with that because I think it got to a point where it was just so predictable. Like when the Niners were up big, it was so predictable the Niners were going to run the ball. That's when they started getting like only 2 or 3 yards
To
per
be fair,
carry.
Quinn was really committed to stopping the run.
He was. He was like, I am going to force Jimmy Garoppolo to pass, and that's what
I'm
he
just
did.
saying,
And then that's yeah.
I've seen you guys have better games like through the run game
No,
than.
I totally agree. It wasn't like a great game, but
But
I
I
do
thought
think
your
it was a
offensive
pretty
line
good game.
handled it
I thought it
really
was pretty
well.
good.
They don't seem to like McGlinchey's just a no impact now.
Dude, Tom Compton is the #1 ranked tackle on PFF. He has
Do you think he's
effectively
better
been
than
replaced.
McGlinchey?
Yes, I've watched
Or
him and I have like
is it even McGlinchey anymore?
okay, so Tom Compton is a really good run blocker, right? Which is good. Like that's McGlinchey, that's what he does. So when he's actually solid at pass blocking, it's like, why do we need McGlinchey? He's a first round pick with all this
He's
like
Mike
dead cap
McCloughy
space
though.
and all this, and it's like we
But he's
have a
Mike
backup
McCloughy.
who's better than him.
But he's a solid player according to Mitch Mulaney.
I don't want to hear about the solid players, man. He's the #1 ranked tackle of PFF is freaking the backup to him.
It's
He's way
trembling to
better.
be fair. But no, I thought your offensive line played great in the game.
No, yeah, they
Um,
dominated. Micah
and
Parsons was a no-show.
outside of like at the end, outside of Jimmy at the end of the game and Shanahan at the end of the game, it was a perfect game. But it still came down to the last drive. Like, does that not concern you a bit? Because can you really play that much better than you did? And it's still against what I think is a worse team in Dallas. It's still come down to the last drive.
Um, hmm. Uh, I think we played our best game in the first 3 quarters. I don't necessarily think we played that good in the fourth quarter. I mean, whenever you have a quarterback like Dak Prescott and you have the receivers that they do, it just like they're always going to be in the game. As long as it's 2 possessions, they're always going to be in the game. I just think classic Shanahan, classic Jimmy G, right? Like we just give up a big lead or whatever. I think that's all that happened. I don't think it was like because realistically, if you watch that game, it could have went like a completely different direction if it just like a couple plays went our way. Like if it was 2, 3 first downs, like after we went up big, like it's over. Like the game's done. Like we don't even have to watch it anymore. But yeah, then Jimmy Garoppolo decided to throw probably the worst rollout pass. He rolled out like Joe Montana on the catch, and he threw it up like Joe Montana did. But he just threw it to the defender at the time. He made it. I was thinking about that as I watched it. Like he did the Joe Montana rollout for the catch, like the Dwight Clark catch, but he totally whiffed it, dude. He did the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do on that play.
All right, Lenny. Next game, the LA Rams
The
at
Lambs.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the luckiest quarterback of all time, according
boy.
to you, Tom Brady. Do you think Tom Brady's luck will prevail against the team he's had some trouble with so far in Tampa?
I think the thing, if you're a Tampa Bay fan or just a Tom Brady fan, like, man, that front seven or that front four, I should say specifically, Leonard Floyd, Von Miller, and Aaron Donald, man, they can get after a quarterback. They can just take over games. Von Miller has really come onto his own the last couple of weeks, man. I mean, he just looks like
Proving why he
2015
should
Von
be a
Miller,
Pro
man.
Bowler.
I know. What was that? Durcan went off on you.
I know.
That was stupid.
Durcan was acting like it was an outrageous suggestion.
It wasn't. He played good for most of the season. Like he played really good up until the end. I think he had a shot at the Pro Bowl. I don't think that was.
He's had a sack in the last 5 games.
Okay, that's besides the point. But anyway, if you get pressure to Tom Brady and you stop Tom Brady for any team, your chance of winning the game goes up like that. Like it's just ridiculous how much of a better chance you do if you get to Brady. I think that goes twofold with Stafford, with the Rams. If Stafford doesn't play good, which I'm not sure if he will, because I think the run game for the Rams in the last game was one of the main reasons why Stafford just looks so good. Stafford with a run game is probably an elite quarterback because, I mean, he just looks amazing. He looks so comfortable in the pocket. He knows everything where he needs the read to be. He knows where everyone's going to be open. He just knows who's open, and he makes every throw that you need him to. But I don't think that he's going to get that same kind of leeway with the Bucks. I think it's going to be like a very defensive game on both sides of the ball. Obviously, Mike Evans, you got the matchup against Jalen Ramsey. Everyone's been talking about that, how he's going to lock him up. Like, that's not going to be easy for Brady. I think they run a lot of tight end sets here, try to target the Rams linebackers because, well, they're not very good, number one.
Wait, you think that the luckiest quarterback of all time is going to have to work for something, Lenny?
Yeah, I think he's going to be I think he's going to put up like 17 points and win the game. But
Keep going, keep going.
I think the reason that the Rams lose this game is because of Stafford, and it kind of depresses me. No, like it legitimately is sad that I think that this is going to happen because I think Stafford's going to be put in a very tough position. Like it's going to be like a gritty, tough game. He's going to get hit a lot. I think because who was it? Andrew Whitworth just went out. That's going to be
Right.
great for their pass rush. I don't think they get anything going on the ground, and I think Sean McVay is going to entirely rely on Matthew Stafford to make the throws he needs to. And I don't know if he can do it without a run game. OBJ is going to have to come up big. He did it. I said last week that he would do. He probably would. He might have a big game, and he did. OBJ is going to have to get open and open and open. He's going to have to because they're going to triple Cooper Kupp. They're going to blitz a lot. That's what. What's their defensive coordinator? I forgot his name.
Raheem Morris.
Yeah. No. The Bucks.
Or for Tampa, Todd Bowles.
Yeah, Todd Bowles likes to blitz a lot. He likes to make his quarterbacks.
Why'd Lenny go on?
Sorry, my AirPods died. So, but yeah, he's going to make it very uncomfortable for Stafford, is what I'm saying. And it's going to come down to who's the better quarterback on Sunday or on Saturday. Sunday or Saturday? Sunday. It's going to come down.
Sunday.
It's going to come down to who's the better quarterback.
Eastern.
And ultimately, I'm picking Tom Brady to win that matchup every single time. And it's sad because I picked Matthew Stafford to lose in the second round and like February, and I'm going to be proven right. So, you know.
Lenny's two guarantees, like Lenny's two guarantees for this season that were both guarantees before last season's Super Bowl even occurred, were that Gruden would have a winning season, which technically he was right about. Even though it was 5 games. It was 5 games through, and that Stafford would go out in the second round, which, I mean, it'd be pretty accurate. It'd be pretty accurate if he did it.
I mean, I thought about in that moment saying the first round, but I didn't. So now we're here.
Calculation right there. No, look, you don't think any Brady luck is going to happen here?
I think Brady luck is that he gets to play Stafford in a meaningful playoff game where he's going to be pressured a lot and won't have run game. So basically his defense just carries, and he scores like 17 points and wins anyway.
Okay, yeah, I mostly agree with you. I think the Rams are 6-4 when they have to pass the ball 35 times or more. They are 6-1. There's now 7-1, including playoffs, when they pass the ball under 35 times.
That's crazy. Holy.
Though we know the Bucs' run defense, even though statistically it hasn't been great, we know like last week when they actually tried stopping. I feel like this season they haven't tried stopping the run at times. I don't know how they've been like where they are.
Pass rush every.
I don't know where they are. It's just like, but when they actually tried to stop the run, like they were really good at it. Outside of one run at the end of the game by the Eagles, which inflated their statistics. They shut down Jalen Hurts. Obviously, they don't have to worry about that anymore with Stafford.
Shut down Jalen Hurts, bro.
Maybe they'll have to shut down Trey Lance. No, I'm kidding.
Oh man.
No, but I think if they'll be able to stop the Rams' run game, which they've kind of leaned on as of late, and if the thing with the last game that these two teams played, I rewatched it. I expected to like think, oh, I think the Rams have. I was considering picking the Rams because of some of Tampa's injuries and because of the success they've had against them. And I wanted to rewatch the game to get a better grasp of exactly what happened. Because like the Niners-Packers game, it was a while ago now. And I came away more I somehow came away more impressed with Tampa than I thought. I don't know how this happened. It was just
What
like
did you see? What did you
so. Like
see?
first of all, the Bucks had D. Delaney
Oh my
and
god.
some other dude. I'm forgetting his name. Ross
Richard
Cockrell.
Sherman
They had
Fox.
Ross Cockrell and D. Delaney covering the Rams.
Oh
Now they'll have Dean. I think he got hurt in that game, and Murphy Bunting was out in that game. They're getting their secondary healthy now. They they missed a field goal in the game. They had a fumble that was recovered by the Rams that could have gone either way. They had they had drops in that game. They had bad penalties in that game. The Rams, neither of those things happened. It was in LA. There's something else there. Oh,
five.
Jamel Dean dropped a pick six in that game. So like it
Melody.
just felt like everything in that game that could go wrong for them was going wrong for them.
I think the final score.
Tom Brady was their leading rusher in the game.
Wait, what?
He was their leading rusher with
How many yards did he have?
3 carries for 14 yards.
Oh my god, how much is that? That's 4.2 something yards per carry. That's more efficient than
4.7.
Joe Mixon.
They ran the ball in that game for 2.7 yards a carry.
Brady is just the Trey Lance archetype, man. He's big, he's fast, he can get out of the pocket.
No, but I think and it just
playoff Lenny's coming back, right?
The game, Leonard Fournette's back. I don't expect the Bucks to actually lean much on the run game. I know people are talking about that. The Rams' run defense is also elite. So, I don't know. I don't know how much success they can really have. I know they've got a good offensive line, but it's a bit banged up. So it's probably going to be honestly like a shootout type of game in terms of the pass game. I think both teams are going to pass the ball, which is why I think that may actually generate points for the Bucks on both. Like I think negatively and positively.
I just trust Tom Brady when it's two quarterbacks that just are pass heavy in this game, which I totally agree. They're going to pass a lot in this game. They're both going to lean on their quarterbacks. I just trust Tom Brady to be leaned on more than Matthew Stafford.
I understand the Rams have better weapons like right now than the Bucks do because of the injuries and Antonio Brown that the Bucks have lost. But no, let's not even go into that. But
that's not.
The Bucks are 12-3 in the regular season when Brady threw the ball 35 times or more. I said Stafford was 6-4. So the Bucks not only have a lot more experience of throwing the ball more, they're more successful when they throw the ball more. And so they're just more built, especially at home, to play that style, I think. And against the other thing is Stafford, like he led the league. He had a very good season, but he led the league in interceptions. And
really?
He did. He had 17 interceptions on the year.
Matthew Stafford, the new Jameis Winston, huh?
He's a much better version, but yes.
Jameis we all wanted.
And the one thing with the Bucks is, like, as a Falcons fan, I know that they take the ball away. They can take the ball away. That's one of the best things their secondary is able to do. If you think back, it was a week before the first game happened. They played the Falcons. That was it was a competitive game for a while. And the Bucks, they got 2 tipped pick sixes, which really kind of closed out.
That was hilarious.
I don't know if you remember that or not.
I do remember that.
It's just stuff like that they like are able to create. And like I feel like
there's so many good players on defense, you know, it's hard
if something like that happens again for one of the teams, it's most likely going to be for the Bucks. And I also think what really helped the Rams in that game and why they were able to have so much success passing the ball was the Tampa Bay front just completely didn't show up pass rushing wise. JPP, who hasn't been very good this year, but still he was out in that game. Shaquille Barrett didn't Whitworth locked him. Their interior rush didn't do much.
Whitworth ain't even going to be in the game.
Whitworth isn't in the game. So I don't expect, and the Rams, their interior has been weak. Like their interior is decent, but it's not great. It's exploitable, and we've seen that.
Just don't run
where they've been strong and what makes their offensive line a good unit is their tackle position. And without Whitworth, that's now a bit of a concern, especially against Shaq Barrett. So
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I think Tampa Bay is only -2.5 here at home, which is suggesting they're getting some rat poison here. I'm taking, and I very rarely bet against Tom Brady in like these big important games, especially when he's at home. I think he's 21-4 at home. There was some
He's
there's
5-0. I think he's 5-0 in the NFC playoffs. Isn't
Yeah,
that
he's undefeated in the
ridiculous?
NFC playoffs.
Isn't that
I'm
ridiculous?
taking I'm taking Tampa Bay to win 30-21.
He's won every single playoff game he's played in so far in the NFC. Like, I know it's like, oh, they had a Super Bowl run and then they played the Eagles. But it's like, dude, that's crazy. I can't be the only one that thinks that's crazy.
Lenny, what I think is the game of the year.
Oh, boy.
It actually took me a while to make a prediction on this game. I made it during the Beavers consensus.
Oh, you made up your mind during the...
Yeah. The Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs. I did it with the help of some girl analogies. But nonetheless, I was able to do it. Lenny, you don't have to give me girl analogies. You can just break down the game, go through the X's and O's. Who do you expect to win?
I expect the Bills to win because I think I've been saying this all year. I think the Chiefs are massively overrated. Just number one, not even talking about the team. If they win this game, they will have been to their 4th AFC Championship game in a row. And I'm just like, okay, just based on that merit alone, am I really going to bet on that? Like,
and they'd be favored, assuming I think they'd be favored against Tennessee, and they'd certainly be favored even though they lost to Cincinnati. They'd be favored to go to a 3rd straight Super Bowl, which I think it's only been done by the Bills from 90 to 93 and the Patriots from 2016 to 2018.
Didn't the Vikings do it?
The Vikings didn't go to 3 straight.
I know they went to 3 though.
They went to 3 in a similar era. Miami did a similar thing. Dallas did a similar thing. But no team has gone to 3 straight Super Bowls other than the Patriots from 2016 to 2018 and the Bills from 1990 to 1993. The Bills made 4 in a row. The Chiefs are trying to get that this year.
So what I think on defense for the Chiefs is going to cost them very hard is, number one, they play a lot of press man coverage. They play like an unhealthy amount. Like, they just are terrible in zone coverage. And the last time they played the Bills, they played a lot of zone coverage, and they just got absolutely worked by Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. This time, I'm assuming they go straight man to press coverage like they've been doing all year. They did it against the Bengals. You saw what happened with Jamar Chase. I mean, he went off because they just refused to play zone defense against Jamar Chase, and they just got worked over the top. I think that's going to happen. Very similar things going to happen here. You can't play man coverage, in my opinion, against Josh Allen. He is going to run on you, and he is going to run on you, and you can't do anything about it. I think the Chiefs just kind of have to accept that. They have to accept that he's going to roll out of the pocket and get like 10 yards every now and then on 3rd down, whatever. Like, they just kind of have to accept that. I don't think they can really scheme anything here where they can limit that outside of just overall shutting this offense completely down, which it's not happening. It's just not. This isn't last year's defense. It's not happening. I think the Bills are going to run okay. I think they're going to be fine running the ball. They've really found their rhythm running the ball lately. I know you said that last week, and I kind of made fun of you. Me and Mitch made fun of you.
You and Mitch both did it, and who ended up being right?
But you were right. I looked at like a couple of things, and I was like, oh, wow, the Bills actually have been pretty good at it. And I expect them to be good enough in this game, especially when they have Josh Allen.
Lenny, you just kind of laughed at it, though. Mitch legit said, if the Bills run the ball in this game, that makes me more confident as a Patriots fan. How'd that work out?
Not very well. We don't have to talk about that Patriots game, especially from the guy who said they were top 3 in Super Bowl odds a couple weeks ago. But anyway, I think the Bills are going to score a lot of points just because of what I said. I think they're going to get worked over the top, and I think they are going to get worked under the middle when Josh Allen just rolls out and just gets like these 10-yard chunks. You see it with Lamar Jackson, and that's why they don't play man coverage against Lamar Jackson. You almost always see cover 2 or cover 3 against Lamar Jackson, and they're always just making sure he doesn't have these big gains with a running play, like whatever, because they don't have great receivers. It doesn't really matter. I don't think that the Chiefs defense is that good. I think it's good.
No.
But they're playing Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, and they're playing man coverage all the time. It's not a good recipe, I don't think, for a good game here, because they're going to get if they blitz a lot, they're going to get a lot of one coverage looks with Dawson Knox has been pretty good this year. Stephon Diggs. Who's that one receiver? Isaiah McKenzie. He just went ridiculous against the Patriots 2 times in a row. He's like Deshaun Jackson, when
he's my boy from Georgia representing.
You know how Deshaun Jackson, every time he plays the Cowboys, he just gets like 100.
He just goes off.
Yeah, that's
what Isaiah McKenzie is to.
That's Isaiah McKenzie. But yeah, when you look on offense for the Chiefs, this is definitely a better matchup than on defense. Like, I don't think it's close, really. I think the Bills aren't going to get a lot of pass rush on Mahomes, which sucks. Like, you want to get pressure on Mahomes as much as you can. You want to see if he can get a couple turnovers on your side, because Mahomes this year let's be honest, he hasn't been great. He hasn't been the Mahomes that we usually know. He's benefited from.
Yeah, I think for overall for the year, yeah, but I think he has gotten back to that the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think he's been really good the last couple of weeks, but I think his receivers have been awesome too. And circling back to that, I think this is very similar to the Bills and how they match up on offense. I think that the Bills on defense are going to get worked over the top too. I trust Andy Reid to put his receivers into good situations, and they don't have who is it? Oh, God, he was out for a while.
Tre'Davious White.
Yeah, they don't have Tre'Davious White in this game. And Durkant was talking about this in the chat. Like, they really haven't been challenged over the top, the Bills, for a long time.
Yeah, they're going to get tested there.
They're going to be tested. They are going to. We are going to see. They're going to sink or swim.
They can run on the back end.
I think running the ball wise, the Chiefs have actually been pretty good this season. They've been
both run games are underrated
when they want to.
Funny.
The way the Chiefs beat the Bills last year is they literally just took everything under the top. Like, they were just like, oh, check down, check down, check down. Oh, run play, check down. Like, that's how they won. I don't think they win this game that way. And I don't think they do that. I think they might go for a similar game plan, as in, like, we don't want to really go for the big play every single play, but I think they take what's inside the middle. Their linebackers, Matt Milano. There's one other linebacker. Edmonds. There we go. They're pretty good. I think that Travis Kelce isn't going to have a great game, but I think he's going to be Travis Kelce. He'll get his money whenever he needs it. It really comes down to this Bills defense if they can stop Tyreek Hill. I really believe if they stop Tyreek Hill, I think Travis Kelce won't have a great game. If they stop him, which I don't think they're going to be able to do, this is going to be just Bills are going to run away with this if they can stop Tyreek. The Chiefs just don't have a lot of options, I don't think, outside of Tyreek and Travis Kelce. They lost McCole Hardman. Wait, was it McCole Hardman? No.
McCole Hardman's he's playing, and he's actually played pretty well the last couple of weeks.
It wasn't McCole Hardman. There's that other guy, Sammy Watkins.
Watkins. He lost them in free agency.
But that's besides my point. I think if they just shut down those two guys, which I think they have the personnel to do, but it's like really hard. Like, that's hard to do with Andy Reid as your play caller and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. I mean, that's tough. I trust the Chiefs to score at least 3 or 4 touchdowns. I'll say they score 4 touchdowns probably. I don't know. I don't feel like that good about it because I think I don't know. I'm like debating.
Who are you picking, Lenny?
I'm going to take the Bills because I ultimately think that this press man coverage system that they're going with is just going to just not work. I just don't think it's going to work. If they try to blitz, they're going to get one-on-ones with Stephon Diggs, and all these receiving options have been really good lately. Josh Allen's been good against the blitz from what I've seen. And I think if they just try to drop everyone back in man coverage, then he's just going to run out. He's going to roll out, and he's just going to get big yard chunk. He's going to get chunk plays. I don't really see a way that they're going to stop him, Josh Allen. And when Josh Allen plays like Josh Allen, we've seen the Bills just be like ridiculous. They've always, when Josh Allen steps up to the plate, these Bills team is probably the best in the NFL.
No, I'm said like they are very much when I think when the Bills are playing to their potential, which we've seen them do that against bad teams. We saw them do it against the Chiefs
last week.
Earlier in the year. When they're playing up to their full potential, they are, I think, the best team in the league.
Yeah, not much to argue there. I mean, you see it. You saw it last week. You saw it against.
But then there's other games where they lose to the Jags. They get blown out by Indianapolis. Like, they lose to Steelers. Like, you know, who knows? I mean, I picked. So you broke down the game pretty well. I thought. I think a couple things I would add would be I think the Chiefs in terms of their run defense. And you kind of talked about this, but I really think the Bills can exploit that. Like Devin Singletary's played pretty well the last couple of weeks, and they don't have the guys to stop Josh Allen. It's it's like Cam Newton in his prime, but Josh Allen.
But he can throw. He can throw deep.
He can throw downfield. He's a better passer than Newton was, but he's got that same like kind of build. He can run people over. He's tough to stop. He always got a game plan for his legs. Doesn't really need an offensive. He doesn't need a ton of protection, but his line has been getting him protection as of late. They've been able to run block well. I think this is going to be a high scoring game. It's not actually that cold, right? So I think the elements set up for it to be a fairly high scoring game.
Question real quick. Do you remember when Joe Buck, when what's his name? One of the tight ends for the Chargers went down and he had that like neck injury where he concussion thing.
Yeah,
and he's like, man, he's really cold. No, he said something like, it might have to do with something in the weather. It's really cold in the SoFi Stadium. I just remember.
LA. Like, how cold can it really get?
Yeah, keep going.
Nah, but I think the Bills I just think I've seen their weapons outside of their top guy, Stephon Diggs, do more than the Chiefs. I think Allen's probably playing a little better than Mahomes. But here's the thing: I think the Chiefs. I think their offense is mostly I think it's 90% of what it used to be at this point. Like I think they've gotten back to that.
Yeah.
But I think their defense. It's not historically bad anymore, but I think it's not in mid-season form either. When they were playing arguably the best defense in the league.
I think they're about average right now.
Yeah, I think they're an average defense, and I think the Bills are above that. The Bills statistically are the best defense in the league. I just think the Bills are the more complete team, and I ended up picking in my first 3 games the higher seed to win each time, so I'm not going to do that again. So this was a game that I literally had a very hard time picking. So I was like, why not pick the upset? One is bound to happen, so why not take my chances with this game? I feel a little bit better about it since when I first made the pick, but I'm still like this game could go either way. I think it's gonna be a great game.
Watch this be like last year when they played in the playoffs.
If it's like last year, the funny thing is, last year they played in the regular season, Chiefs won. They played in the playoffs, the Chiefs won. This year, the Bills played them in the regular season, the Bills won. They always say beating a team twice is tough, but as history shows in this rivalry so far, the Bills will win the game.
The sample size is questionable.
The sample size is very questionable.
Very questionable.
It's not nothing.
Is there like a Peyton Manning, Tom Brady stat? Like Tom Brady,
I gotta get to this.
Tom Brady beat Peyton Manning in regular season, then he went on to beat Peyton Manning in the playoffs, and then
I gotta look at this Peyton Manning versus.
Or like
I gotta look at Peyton Manning versus New England.
Swept the Ravens in the playoffs, and then he swept the Ravens regular season. He beat them in the playoffs or something.
All right, Lenny, I'm about to look at this Peyton Manning record versus New England, and then we'll get to the questions. Only a few of them today.
Hey, how about this 2019 conference champions?
So quick side note: I ordered my Georgia championship gear. And these people at Fanatics never buy anything off of Fanatics. These people, first of all, they didn't even deliver the hat. Second of all,
they didn't get the hat.
The shirt. It's not with me right now. But
Man,
They delivered the shirt. It was like 3 sizes too small. It wasn't me being an idiot either. I specifically remember ordering men's large,
Mm.
and it was like, no, we'll give you youth's large. It was like, what the hell, man?
You need to like go up to their website. Like you need to go up to wherever they work and
Yeah.
just
So
put it on their receptionist table and just be like, this is a problem and I need it fixed right now. Wherever.
Peyton Manning played New England. Did he play them twice in a season? He played them twice in
He's definitely
2003,
license.
lost both. Played them twice in 2004, lost both.
There you go. Here you go.
Played them twice in 2006, won both.
Look at this. I was right.
Played them twice in 2013, went 1-1.
Oh, all right.
So 3-1 when he plays.
I don't know. That might be something.
The 23rd, the one game they did win was like they shouldn't. Denver outplayed them the entire game. I don't know how New England won the game. It was crazy. Denver won the game that mattered. Anyway,
Denver won the game in paper.
Here comes Lenny with another Brady look.
Oh wow, Brady won another close game where he played trash.
Yeah, to be fair, it was 34-31. All right, here's the pot.
Close,
Here's the questions to end this off. So this is from Aqua. He says he has 2 questions. The first one: who is your dark horse MVP and team for next year? I'll let Lenny go first.
If I'm gonna say someone other than Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, because I mean, saying Aaron Rodgers as a dark horse is just stupid. I got to think about that for a while.
Dark horse.
Talking about most valuable player for a team. I mean, like
no, most valuable player in the NFL.
I know this is cliche, and I know I'm a Raiders fan, but I'm gonna say Derek Carr. I know it's like, wow, Derek Carr, wow, like the person who just lost in the first round against the Bengals. I just think about when you think about most valuable player. I don't know if there's like a lot like Tom Brady and like a couple other quarterbacks in the NFL, like 3 or 4, maybe handle the situation that Derek.
Well, when you think of dark horses, you don't really think of like the top guys. You gotta go for like someone that's like around like that top 12, top 16 kind of area.
Derek Carr, despite not having a lot of touchdowns, was 3rd in the league in
passing yards.
I believe. He was somewhere around there. He just overall balled out this season, even though if he didn't play great. He
was in the MVP race for a good first quarter of the year.
If I'm talking about a dark horse, like someone like you could pick if you were to just really analyze it in that sense, that's just the first person who popped up in my brain. I don't know.
And then dark horse team
to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right now. Probably I don't know if the Bills are that favored. Probably, but I'd say the Bills.
No, for next year.
Oh, next year. Oh, yeah. Was that for the MVP last year?
No, he's asking about the MVP, like a dark horse MVP and dark horse team for next 2020.
Year. Okay, I was gonna say, did I just completely misread the situation here?
No, I'm sorry if I wasn't clear enough, but
a dark horse team for next year. Whoever lands Aaron Rodgers, to be honest. I think whoever lands Aaron Rodgers, dark horse team. I don't know who he's going to go to. I really hope it's not Denver. I really hope it's not Denver. But whoever he goes to, you're getting a top 3 quarterback at the very least. I mean, like any team.
Let's be honest, probably number 1.
Probably number 1. I'm just saying, like, point is you have the 2-time MVP, like back-to-back MVP, I mean. And he's going to a new team, you're probably going to have a good chance of winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so for a dark horse MVP for next year, it's going to be great. I'm going to say, because I kind of think Joe Burrow's going to have an MVP level year next year and Justin Herbert, but I feel like they aren't dark horse enough. I feel like they'll be up there in odds when the MVP odds for next year come out.
He'll be top 5.
Yeah, they might both be top 5. So I'm gonna go for Mac Jones.
Yeah.
I think Mac Jones, even though he kind of regressed at the end of the year, showed some pretty good stuff overall.
He's got Kendrick Bourne as his
number one receiver is Kendrick Bourne. They run the offense. They run the offense through the tight end, which I'm not a huge fan of because it limits your big play potential.
Yeah.
And he had no experience of that at Alabama, so they just completely went away from what they did at Alabama that worked.
No RPO plays whatsoever from
No
Josh.
RPO plays. They don't have elite receivers. Instead, we'll give him a bunch of tight ends.
It was like
It just made no sense.
He was riding training wheels the whole year, and then when they put the training wheels off, that was at the point where everyone was playing terrible. So it was just like, oh
yeah, we'll take the training wheels off, but you've got to ride around around a black hole, basically.
Like a broken road, like going, like one of those cartoons where like the cliff where it just drops down.
Yeah.
He's got
ride around a cliff with his first time without training wheels. And they were doing it against like the Bills and stuff too. It's like, what the hell?
I know, like if you're gonna take the training wheels off,
I thought this was a complete disaster of a season for McDaniels. Like, Mac Jones probably really misses Steve Sarkisian right now.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't think you'd ever be saying that about any Steve Sarkisian thing, but
Steve Sarkisian has actually been a pretty decent coordinator. He just had that one. I think maybe I overreacted to that 1 year just because Shanahan was so good. So where like Sarkisian, it was probably more closer to average than I thought, but because Shanahan was like this, it just felt so much worse. Because the next year Sarkisian was actually pretty decent. I thought we fired him too early, to be honest.
It's kind of like when you go from Tom Brady to Mac Jones.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, that's not.
But yeah, if the Patriots are able to add a couple receivers, then yeah, and Mac Jones takes a projected step up.
Belichick can do that though. He hasn't really been aggressive in.
He should do it though.
Big time guys.
Imagine if they get Calvin Ridley. Like, how good could that offense be?
I mean, if I'm the NFC East or the AFC East, I just quit.
Well,
except for the Bills. Besides the Bills,
the Dolphins and Jets. I mean, the Dolphins have kind of owned them, to be fair. But
you know what? Never mind.
The Jets should already quit.
I retract my statement. I didn't think about it very hard.
The Jets should quit.
How funny is it that the AFC East decided to get their shit together after Tom Brady leaves?
Is this another luckiest quarterback?
I mean, like maybe it's one of those things where like once they're gone, like they start doing good. But like, I mean, come on, that can't just be a coincidence.
And then dark horse team, I think again, the Patriots, like they're not that like I know they lost by 40 to Buffalo, but roster-wise, literally all they need right now is receivers, which they can get in the free agency and the draft and through trades. And I think they need some more run defenders. Like I saw a mock draft today that had them getting Jordan Davis, my boy from Georgia, big guy.
Oh, dude, that would be perfect for
if they get Jordan Davis, that is a slam dunk pick along with Barmore. That's a really nice interior defensive line.
I think Belichick's really the guy to get him too. I mean, former Alabama coordinator too. He's tight with Nick Saban. I think that might be the pick, man.
Jordan Davis from Georgia, but yeah.
Well, I know, but like the head coach was from Alabama. He probably has that.
Yeah, it's a whole. They're all connected somehow.
Yeah, they're all like connected on the tree or whatever.
But yeah, and then the second question: what rookie do you see taking a step up in 2022?
Rookies. There's a lot of bad rookies this year. I would say Mac Jones if I'm just like totally. Like we just talked about him, so I'll say.
Let's not go for Mac Jones though, because like,
I know we just talked about him,
and also Mac Jones had a fairly decent rookie year. Like who was a disappointing rookie?
I think it's whoever has the best offseason out of each of these teams. I think whoever gets the best coach, whoever gets like the best receiver talent or just talent in general and offense for these teams. I think the player who has the most potential to jump is Zach Wilson. I think Robert Saleh's done actually a solid job with the Jets. Like I know Niners homer, but like he's had some. I was watching a video. It was 5 Points Vids, if you know that. But he ranked like top 5 in holding his teams from like not getting false starts or whatever, and limiting his team to penalties and stuff like that. Like just stuff like that. That's valuable. That's a valuable asset to have. Like it's just. I mean, you saw with the Cowboys, but he had like 1,500 yards let off by penalties or something. I guess Zach Wilson would be my pick. The Jets have to get their shit together. I'm
gonna go for I'm gonna go off the board. I'm gonna go Joe Tryon. He was
Joe
the
Tryon.
final pick of the first round by Tampa Bay.
They probably
And
let
I'm assuming Jason Pierre-Paul is probably not gonna be. I think Joe Tryon's gonna take his place next year.
He's out of here, man.
To be honest, he probably should have already, but that's whatever. I liked what I've seen from him. And I like how he played. I really liked how he played in the preseason. I know preseason doesn't matter, but I do remember him having a really dominant one. And he's playing on a defensive line that's very talented. And
Micah Parsons and Joe Tryon.
yeah, I mean they locked up Vita Vea. They've locked up Shaq Barrett. So those are the guys they really need. And I think Tryon can come on and make an instant impact.
Oh man, if Tom Brady retires this year, then Kyle Trask is on the market on that one.
Kyle Trask, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh man! Imagine Kyle Trask comes in and puts up like 5,000 yards.
He's just like 10 times. He puts like 10 times better stats than Brady this season. Like it's
and then Lenny's out here seeing like
I'm like, wow, I almost saw that coming, man. Like that's crazy.
All right.
This
is from Goldfish. He asks,
Fish.
Jokic or Embiid?
Jokic or Embiid?
I'd go Jokic, but
Jokic is like the most obvious pick ever. That could have been like the easiest thing ever. He's playing like an MVP right now. That's all I gotta say.
To be fair, Embiid's been very good as well, but
yeah, but like the MVP versus like a top 5 center, it's kind of like, I don't know.
All right, and then the last question is from Dried Ocean. He asks, rank the remaining teams in terms of chance to win the Super Bowl.
I saw that one. I was very interested in that.
All right.
You want to go like one by one, or you just want to do the list?
No, well, let's go one by one. So the least likely team to win the Super Bowl. Number 8.
It's got to be Bengals.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. It's the Bengals.
It's just the path they'd have to go.
They're the one team that nobody expected to be here that is here. Like they have so many holes on. At least with the other teams, it's like you can point to obvious strengths and there's not a lot of obvious holes. For the Bengals, they have a hole the size of the gap between Anaheim and
it's
Wilmington.
Almost like for their receiving core and their like special what's it? I don't know, like talking about the special group, like the one with the receivers and the running back and quarterback.
Yeah.
Like they filled that hole like completely. Like they put Gorilla Glue, they put duct tape on it, and then everything else on offense, they're just like, all right, whatever, we don't care. Like tight end and
Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are like the really fancy car parked in front of a trailer, right?
Yeah,
it's that
haunted mansion.
Yeah, they're the least like, and they have no playoff experience whatsoever. I know they will.
Oh yeah, that too.
But they did it against another team with no experience. So
Zach Taylor will be outcoached this week by Mike.
At number 7, I think, unfortunately for you, it's the 49ers.
Yeah. Like bluntly, yeah. The Niners just don't have the quarterback, guys. We just don't have the quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to do what he did last year, or not last year, 2019, where he just gets to play the Vikings after a playoff win.
I will say though,
Packers when they were
if the Niners are able to win, think you've got to be you've got to be the biggest Rams fan of all time. Right?
Dude, if you win the game and then go on to play the Rams,
you're in the Super Bowl.
I mean, that Super Bowl at SoFi. I am going to SoFi Stadium, which is like literally.
Lenny found the stash of money
away from me. I'm going to drive there, and I'm going to buy tickets so I can watch.
Lenny won't even buy tickets. He'll sneak his way in somehow.
Oh man, let's watch it be like
but realistically, the Niners are gonna. They're. I'd be surprised. I wouldn't be stunned. I'd be stunned if Cincinnati won. I wouldn't be stunned by anybody else. But I'd be surprised if they won.
They have to play the Bucks most likely. I think the Bucks have a pretty good chance of winning, even though it's going to be a close game. They'd have to play the Packers and then the Bucks to get there.
And then like one of the Bills, Chiefs, and Titans too.
And they had Jimmy Garoppolo at quarterback. I mean, it's gonna be a tough road, regardless of even if we get to the NFC Championship game. So, I'm just happy to be here at this
All right,
point.
at number 6, I think I go with the Rams. The
Hmm.
Rams are the first team. Like, I think the top 6 all have like very legit shots at it. I wouldn't be surprised if any of them did. But I think the Rams, first of all, they got to go on the road. Super Bowl is at home for them, but they don't have a huge fan base. So I don't know how much
I
of an
don't know. They
advantage it
showed up
will be.
against the Cardinals, man.
They did, but the Cardinals fan base isn't exactly large. I worry about their ability to go to a place like Lambeau Field, where Stafford's record's terrible. It's historically, and it's a cold
What are you
weather
talking
team
about,
versus a
bro? The Niners
warm
are gonna
weather
win. They're gonna play
team,
the Niners.
and I don't know if they have quite the run game that y'all do with the Niners. So,
No, they don't.
and the other thing is that I think their defense is really overrated, but. Like they have a good
Yeah,
pass rush
I'd
and run
agree.
defense, but their secondary I think
They
is.
have a very sexy looking defense. You know what I mean? You look
But
at Aaron
they're
Donald, Leonard Floyd, Jalen Ramsey, but then you go past like the big names,
I'll
and
make
you're
another analogy. They're the girl that looks really good but has absolutely nothing outside of that. Like zero.
so
I'm talking
no
like zero.
personality, really unfunny, just like not a good person whatsoever.
Unpleasant to be around.
Unpleasant to be around, just doesn't pay for anything.
Yeah. Um
I'd probably agree. I think the other team that I'm going to debate, like I know you're not going to say this because it's blasphemy, but the Chiefs, I really don't believe in the Chiefs at all. I just don't believe in them. I just think
no,
they're
I
playing
think
so.
I wouldn't be mad if you honestly had the Rams like third on this list. But like I think 1 through 6 in the NFL is very close right
No,
now.
I think the Rams just have the toughest road. It's like the Niners in a similar sense. If the Niners went on to play Packers and then they played the Rams, then it's like okay, you have a shot, I guess. But
No,
it's
yeah.
you have
So
to play these
the
two
thing
teams.
is, the Rams. If the Rams are able to get past Tampa, which is a big
Oh,
if.
I don't think anyone's stopping them if they get past Tampa. I really think it's going to
No,
be.
but nah. But if they get past Tampa, they'll either have to go to Green Bay, which is going to be a really tough game, or they'll have to play the team that always beats them in the
Yeah,
championship game.
it's just tough.
It's a tough road, and then they'll have to play one of the top teams, right,
And then even if they get to the
in
Super
the
Bowl, they're going to have to
AFC,
play the Titans and they're going to lose. So
or the Bills, or the
according to Dirk
Chiefs.
Camp.
And then you have the Chiefs at 5. You already explained why you don't
I
believe in
just,
them.
I just, it's man. I mean, like I said, 4 AFC Championship games, 3 Super Bowls in a row. I mean, I don't know with how they played in before the regular season. I don't know. I
Yeah, I
don't.
agree. I'd have the Chiefs right at 5 as well. They, I think there's clear flaws with this team. I'm worried about. I'm not as sold on their defense as a lot of other people are. I think their
People
defense.
think it's like
No,
how
I
the last
just
2 years they've been
when
like
they're when they haven't played the Steel, like the Chargers lit them up. Denver
oh
had
yeah.
some. Denver made some plays
That
against
game
them.
should have been there should have been like 12 more points on the board for the Chargers. I don't even care.
Brandon Staley cost them that game.
There should have been like 20 more points on the board.
And then the Bengals won that game because of their offense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like their defense has been regressing when they haven't played the Steelers. Their offense is still very good, but I don't know, man. They'll be tested. They'll be tested, and I don't know if it's quite what it used to be still. So I'd have they could very well win it, but I think they're the 5th most likely team. At number 4, I think I'd probably go with the Bills here. I think the Bills, they're a very good team. They're very well balanced. They have arguably the best quarterback in the conference, but it's it's a tough road. They've had trouble with the Chiefs, historically. They've had trouble with the
You're
Titans
getting mad at me
historically,
for this one.
and then the Bills. I don't know why I'm not just saying it. They haven't won a Super Bowl, Lenny. They made 4, and they haven't won one yet. And
They've
it's
been the
like,
4
I
times
don't
straight.
know. Are
and
they
they
just a
lost every
cursed
time.
franchise? Who knows?
You know how much that must suck for what was his name?
Imagine being a Dry Ocean. Imagine being a '90s Bills fan and like
Dude,
watching your team thoroughly be better than the
I think
entire league all season long for 4 years in a row, and then coming up short
What was it? Wide right? Isn't
I'm a
wide
Georgia
right?
sports fan, and I feel bad for you guys.
Wide right's the play, right? Or it just went way
Four,
across
like
the
four
field.
straight opportunities. You just have to win one.
I know
Legit.
the odds are.
You could have got blown out in the other three. Just win one.
It's just like, yeah.
Man, that's
I
painful.
think that was the original 28-3 joke. Like it was like, like 0-4. I think 0-4 and wide right were the original 28-3 jokes.
And then Lenny, who do you have it for?
I got the Packers. I know you're mad. I know you're mad at me. I can see the face.
It's fine. It's fine. I don't really care.
So,
I'm not a Packers fan.
The Niners, very tough matchup for these guys. I just think it's hard to get over the hump because of the history behind it. Like just based on the history, just based on them not beating them. It's just I didn't talk about this aspect really that much, but since we're summarizing here, that's gonna be a tough game. I think it's gonna be a grinded out game. And I think most likely they play the Bucs in the NFC Championship game. And it's like, man, you got to go against the Niners, who haven't had success with, and you got to go play the Bucs, who you haven't had success with. You know what I mean? It's like that's tough. That's really tough, man. I mean,
I'd put them higher just because I think they're a very talented team. And look, I mean, I think if they're able to get there, I think they actually match up fairly decently with the other AFC teams, not including the Bengals. Like I think if they were to play the Chiefs or the Bills, I think they're a pretty good matchup. For number 3, I think I'd go with the Titans. They're at home for the playoffs. They did beat they beat the Chiefs and the Bills in the regular season, so they've proven that they can win those games.
Pretty handily, one of those.
Derrick Henry's back. He is the best running back in the league. Their defense, I think, is criminal. I think their defense is probably the most underrated in the playoffs left. And look, so you can say what you want about Tannehill, but when he has A.J. Brown in the lineup, he's good enough to win a Super Bowl. And
he's good enough. I mean, if Trent Dilfer can do it, I think Tannehill has a shot.
If they were to play, say, maybe a Packers in the Super Bowl, maybe they would be able to run the ball on them. I think really effectively, and I don't know. I feel like that. I feel like the Titans, just from where they're positioned and like getting their guys back, I think they're in a fairly decent spot right now.
Yeah, I mean they've rested all their starters.
Would you put them at 3?
I'm gonna have the Bills at 3. Actually, this is where I'm gonna have the Bills. I think the Bills have an easier path to the Super Bowl than the Packers do. Quite simply, I just think they do. I think the Bills have a more likely chance if they get past the Chiefs. I don't think the Titans can stop them. I really don't think so. The way that they do is they stop Josh Allen, right? First thoughts. I haven't really thought about this that much. I don't know if anyone's going to stop Josh Allen if he beats the Chiefs in the playoffs. It's just like if he plays the Bengals, we already know what's going to happen with that. But Bengals are not going to make the Super Bowl after their second year with Joe Burrow. That's not going to happen. We talked about that before. I think the Bills just quite simply have an easier path than the Packers do. The Titans are a lot less of a menacing face for their team. Especially with the Packers going back to them. I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers is a bad quarterback because he clearly isn't. Obviously isn't. But his leadership skills been questionable in the past. And when he's playing these teams that they've had
he called out Joe Biden the other day.
What's up?
He called out Joe Biden the other day about the whole vaccine.
What? Oh, okay. I don't want to talk about politics.
No, don't.
With Aaron Rodgers, but yeah, I just think the Bills have an easier path, and they're just as talented as the Packers. Not just as talented, but they're a really talented team, is what I'm saying. And they have an easier path, and I think they match up well with the teams that they get to play. And yeah, that's what I think for number 3.
At number 2, I'd go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think the Bucs, they have TB12, not only with the luck factor that I'm sure Lenny will point out too.
Yep.
And he's also pretty good at football. I don't know if you knew that, but he is pretty decent. I also think that they're able to run the ball. Maybe not against the Rams, but against if they were to play the Chiefs or the Packers or someone like
They
that.
just have to play not an elite run defense, and they'll be fine.
Yeah. Titan, if they can avoid either the Titans or the Rams, which they aren't going to, or the Niners, I guess, then they'll be able to run the ball.
They're going to play the Rams in the Super Bowl.
They play the Rams this week.
Tom Brady's going to make in the first past trade deadline trade to play for some AFC team after they lose.
Because he's such a hero.
He's such a hero that he's just going to abandon his team mid year.
They still have like Evans and Gronk. They still aren't completely destroyed at the weapons.
No, I don't think so.
And I think their defense is playing well. Like their run defense shut down the Eagles last week.
They played awesome.
Shaq Barrett's come on, and their secondary I think is very good. So they certainly have a shot. They're the defending champs. I just think there's one team that's been a bit more consistent than them, is getting probably a little bit healthier than they are. So
makes sense to me.
Who would you go for at 2?
I'm gonna put the Titans at number 2. I just think the ceiling with this team can be crazy. It's just we haven't seen this. We simply just haven't seen this team play. Like
they've played 91 players this year. That's an NFL record. They fielded nearly. They fielded a full roster, and then they fielded another full starting 11 on both teams.
I find it very
and then almost another full starting 11 for both sides of the ball.
Oh my! Wait, really?
Yeah, they've played 91 players. That's 53 plus 38.
Oh wow!
So it's 22 plus 16.
That is sad, but it doesn't really matter because they're the number 1 seed now.
Right.
You know what I mean? I also think it's funny that Mitch was like, "Oh, but if they lose like 2 players, they're done," and now they're the first seed after losing literally every player. I mean, that's pretty funny. You gotta admit. I already explained it. I don't really have like a lot of thought process behind this. They have the best resume in the NFL. They've beaten everybody that they needed to. They have one of the most explosive potential on offenses, most potentially great offenses that we can see in the playoffs. I mean, I don't know. If this team gets going, it's going to be very hard for anybody to stop them, I think.
Yeah, and at number 1, I'm going with the Packers. I think they
my number 4 team
have arguably the best quarterback in the league. They are able to run the ball fairly effectively. They have, I think, the best receiver in the league, with respect to Cooper Kupp, because he's been the best receiver this year. But I think in general, Adams is, I think, the best. Their offensive line's gotten healthier. They got their all-pro left tackle back. This is a team that I think has performed really consistently every week. Like, there's a lot of teams like the Rams or the Bills or the Chiefs sometimes that, like, I don't really know what I get week to week. I know what I get from the Packers. I don't know if it's good enough to beat every team when they're playing. I don't know if their ceiling is necessarily the highest in the league, but I think they have the lowest range in the league.
Yeah, I think the difference between me and you and how we're ranking this is the potential. Because
I think you're going more off of it.
Yeah, I'm going off of best case scenarios and just best chances to do it. I guess you're going with the we've seen it and we know what this team is. We know what they're going to do.
And then defensively, they're weak against the run, but they do have a very good secondary, or Jair Alexander, Eric Stokes, Rasul Douglas. They got a good safety duo. And they've got a good coach. They don't have Mike McCarthy anymore. So imagine if McCarthy was still on this team. Anyway.
They wouldn't be here. Let's just
Rodgers wouldn't be here. I'd say that much.
Yeah, Rodgers wouldn't be here.
But I think the Packers. They also have home field, and they almost beat Kansas City with Jordan Love. So if they were to play them again, I would feel pretty good about their chances. So I'm going to say the Packers, most likely team to win the Super Bowl. Not saying they'll win it necessarily, but
they have.
I think as of today, they have percentage-wise the best chance.
They have the best team, and
I assume you're going really for that team in Tampa.
Got all the stats.
Number 1.
Got all the stats. Okay, my number 1 team, Going with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I'm going to go simple here. Tom Brady is quite simply the luckiest player of all time. And he has a really good defense and a really good offensive line. And I don't really care how good his receivers are because he went to a Super Bowl with Julian Edelman as his number one and Rob Gronkowski on the bench. I don't really care that his receiver core is not that good because Tom Brady's shown to me that he can play without a great receiving core. I don't really care about his receiving core. I care about everything else around that.
Care about his defense.
I know I trust Tom Brady to get the most out of what he has at his weapons. He has Mike Evans. He has Rob Gronkowski. Scotty Miller's a solid option. Tyler Johnson's shown flashes at the stretch. I don't care about that. I think that's overblown. I just think it's overblown. Leonard Fournette, obviously, really good running back. Their offensive line, as long as they stay healthy past this game, they'll be really good there. And on defense, they're getting their defense healthy back for the first time in a while. It's been a long time since they've been this healthy, especially in the playoffs. This is the best time for them to do it. I talked about this before about getting over like the big boogeyman or whatever. Like Tom Brady, the menacing factor with Tom Brady, like imagine you're the Packers in this situation, right? Like last year you went to the NFC Championship game, you lost. You lost to the Niners. This time you went to the NFC Championship game because most likely the Packers win, but I'm going to pick the Niners because I'm a Niners homer. But anyway, Packers are going to go, right? I mean, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers just can like get them over that hump. It's a big thing to ask. He hasn't shown that he can like do that. I don't know. But Tom Brady it just feels like he has a pretty easy path. Like I'm not saying easy because it's a playoffs. But it's Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just feel very confident in this Bucks team. They're very talented.
All right, Lenny. I think that's going to be it.
It's like what?
Thank y'all for watching, and I hope the Niners win for Lenny's sake. But we'll see. See you guys.